Okay, I should be good now. Oh, happy! Hi, Lily pals. Hello. Brief mic issues. OBS always does that to me every so often. Oh well. Okay. Hey y'all. My dearest Lily pals. You got some snackies? You got drinks? Got some cozy blankets? Cause it's time to get comfy. Because we're getting back into MOONRISE tonight. Tonight I'm gonna be going back to story time of gay werewolves. We already covered about like half of the story. I think we covered like 4 out of 9 chapters, so we're on chapter 5 right now. For those who are new, for those just coming by, I'm playing a game called MOONRISE. It's a text-based, like choose-your-own-adventure style game hosted by One Choice of Games, which hosts a myriad of various text-based games of similar ilk. And I know I bought a couple of games off of there, MOONRISE being one of them. But yeah, through Choice of Games, usually like whenever you pick a game, you're allowed to play up to like a certain chapter, and then you have to that's basically like your free trial run for that game. Then you have to pay for the full thing, in which case the payment goes directly to the creators. So, Choice of Games, very, very good little platform if you want to support oncoming like budding writers. So yeah. Anyhow, hello Stellar! I will get you your Froggy. Welcome. It's time to cozy up with werewolf story time. I hope you're all cozy. All comfy. I hope Jay's comfy too. But okay. I think, yeah, here we go. Chapter 5, Second Full Moon, MOONRISE by Natalie Cannon. I have RNG's little froggy up here, stuck onto the ceiling ahead of time, because I know in the corner right there is somewhat sensitive information that I don't want my Lily pals to see. Don't concern yourself with that stuff. So even if RNG isn't here, he is being very helpful. I know I actually peeked into a guerrilla stream that RNG was doing just before I started stream, is playing Dead by Daylight. It looked like the other players were kind of like really good at juking him around. But anyway, let's see. I'm gonna check our stats. Oh, trigger warnings. That will be good to know. So, game contains some potentially upsetting material. While anything can trigger unwanted remembrances of traumatic experiences and acute stress reactions. Some are more common than others. Below is a list of core trigger warnings in the game. These are not listed to make potential players feel unwelcomed. These are here to give a warning to give players time to prepare themselves to encounter these topics and approach these experiences on their own terms. So we're on Chapter 5, which includes blood and gore, animal death, body horror, identity dissociation, and violence. Chapter 6, death, violence, blood and gore. 7, violence, mental health or mental illness mention. And then in Chapter 8 and Chapter 9 there are two different routes. It kind of depends on which one we go to, but I guess like if we go the rogue route, then it's probably going to get a bit nastier by the looks of it. Nevertheless, I haven't encountered anything too extreme from this game. It's relatively tame within the text. Okay, so here are our current stats. Our name is Gwyn, like me. I have relatively strong empathy. Responsibility is my strongest stat, and I don't know how to feel about that. Defense, 37%. Snark, 39%. And then Bloodthirst and Uncanny are at the lowest rungs. And then we have some romantic tensions going around with a couple of the characters. Our roommate, Rosario, and our co-worker, Chica. Ishara? I don't remember if we came across Ishara yet. We'll see. About the gist that you can get from, oh, let me bring in Stellar's frog quick. About the gist that you'll need to know from last time is we are a new werewolf. We met up with this teenager named Alice, who's also a werewolf, and you know, it was basically her that showed us like the ropes and like how the werewolf how they do things. We reconnected with our roommate Rosario, and basically now we've been trying to juggle like home life and our new condition of lycanthropy, trying to juggle things up. We did actually adopt, quote-unquote, adopt Alice. Us and Rosario. Because from the sound of it, it seemed like her own home life is not the greatest. But nevertheless. So, right now, we are up into Chapter 5. Second full moon. Fate turns her wheel, and the full moon approaches. Alice arrives on your doorstep with a question. You can feel it too, can't you? The lunar pull, she says. Would you go back to the forest with me? Alice is practically standing on her toes in hopefulness as she asks this. You don't have to, but it's safer in groups. We could take the train out and be back before my school starts the next morning. Will you spend the full moon with Alice? I think so. I think that would be smart and also, you know, good bond building. How did that change our stats? 50% responsibility. You answer that of course you'll go with her. You're a pack, right? Alice's face shines with eagerness. The train ride to Deep Forest is nerve-wracking. It's too late for the real rush hour folks, but there are stragglers, somber people in suits and one group of tourists blinking rapidly in overcaffeination. Alice twines your arms together, and the arm's not holding the school backpack, Alice's, and work satchel, yours. A restlessness haunts and prods you, the need to run coursing through the blood. Your left leg is about bouncing out of its socket. "Keep breathing," Alice says when the intercom finally announces your stop. "We're almost there." You both disembark, board a bus, ride as far as it will take you, and then walk out of civilization to the wilderness it besieges. By the time the last city sounds fade, you feel ready to claw off your human skin. "Okay, this looks good. We can bury our things here for the night. Let's transform and start digging. The transformation will be easier, smoother this time. We aren't under duress." You can only nod. Alice's eyes are warm and happy as she turns to you. Like she knows. She knows this will be good. With due modesty, you both take off your clothes. You sneak a peek at Alice's transformation. Compared to the memory of yours, Alice's transition between the two forms is smooth and fluid, like the wolf's skin is a gentle blanket covering her. It's beautiful in its own terrifying way. You look away and stuff your clothes in your bag before thinking about wolves. Think about fur and claws and sharp ears and all sorts of useful things like that. Instead of being a slow, clumsy human, you want to be powerful and dangerous and horrifying. And like that, hair sprouts like weeds gone to seed, and nails sharpen enough to break skin with a mere glance. The world clusters around smells. Yes, there's the sticky pine sap and the cool spring earth, but also Alice and wolves and old rapid blood. Rosario's scent lingers on your clothes where they hugged you goodbye, and you decide then that you're never going to use those Tide detergent pods ever again because they make your clothes smell awful. Crickets and birds settle to sleep. Alice digs a hole, carefully places your things inside, and gives a happy bark. Feeling adjusted, you sniff each other all over, tails wagging. Packmate, friend, pup, Alice, home. Alice barks again and bounces back. "Chase me!" Feeling better than you have all month, you oblige. Maybe this whole wolf thing won't be so bad. As the night goes on, you taste the stream and listen to rushing of the wind. They whisper back that sheep are nearby. You remember the sheep from last moon, and hunger roils in your belly just the same. What do you do? We hesitated last time. Do we want to risk riling up the farmers? Hello, Dextra! Are those gay werewolves lesbians? Well, I am. Alice is like our, Alice is like our adopted teen daughter. We do have other characters that work as love interests, though. Personally, I'm gunning for Chica, our coworker. Anyway. Sheep. Sheep. Do we want to eat sheep? Are we in the mood for mutton? I'm not sure. Let's see our stats again. I mean, yeah, our bloodthirst isn't particularly high. Uncanny, I think uncanny is supposed to be, like, representative of, like, how much your werewolf mannerisms slip through like your human exterior. I'm gonna flip a coin. Because I know last time it didn't seem so smart to immediately try and go after the sheep, but this time it could, for the sake of the narrative, it could create intrigue, conflict. Okay, so, if I flip tails, then I'm going to bite. I'm gonna bite the sheep and by the tail and more. Ooh. The game is afoot. They protest and scream, but you attack with the sure expectations that your demands will be met. While breaking into their pens is easy, the escape proves harder. What you thought was a slight noise from the houses is actually humans waking. The boom of a gun, the whistle of a bullet, the ache of your back legs as you spring to safety. The blood on your muzzle drips like guilt, and the cries of horror follow you into the night. You hunger no longer. Okay, so let's peek. Yeah, we earned a little more bloodthirst. Before we proceed, a warning. You have crossed the point of no return. Starting with this chapter, we will focus on testing your skills. Play to your strengths. Consequences can be lethal. Chapter 6, Cassandra. The train ride home is full of morning commuters, and they stink of cheap aftershave and drugstore perfume. It wouldn't bother you if your nose was only a nose, but it isn't. You're not only human. You muscle your way through the platform crowd, only to spot Alice stopping dead in her tracks. She had perfectly blended in with the crowd before. It's been as unobtrusive as anything. Now, she's overwhelmingly present in your senses, her heart slamming your ears as loud as your own. Her fright makes your complexion go pale, her smell crowding your nose full of adrenaline purified through terror. Your shoulders tense, and she's not looking at you. She's looking at a stranger. The strange woman looks so upper crust she could be made out of white plastic. Her hair is platinum blonde, her skirt suit is type dark blue, her pearls are shiny and round. Her lips are painted very, very dark red, and it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand on end. "My Lady Cassandra Mallory," Alice pronounces. "You are surrounded by people. You three are utterly alone in this confrontation." A high-pitched buzzing noise raises your ears as Alice stiffly but elegantly bows in deference. "What is your pleasure?" "Don't try to appease me," Cassandra says. "I have dealt with many a new pup, so you can follow me on your own 2 feet, or I can drag you." "Let's do as she says, Quinn." A growl escapes, but you do as you're told. No matter what Cassandra wants, you are confident in your abilities. Cassandra leads you to an expensive-smelling car, which takes you to a Victorian townhouse. Cassandra opens her door and serves you both tea and small cucumber and cream cheese sandwiches. Neither Alice nor you touch them. You sit in a proper drawing room, which is full of the type of understuffed furniture with heavy wood lining that you've always found uncomfortable. The decor screams old imperialism. Cassandra smells off. Once upon a time, Rosario had this story character who was a horseback rider, and like all horseback riders, she was fond of giving horses carrots. However, rats kept getting into her carrot supply, so she decided to float the carrots in water so the rats would drown trying to eat the carrots. The result? No dead rats, but the discovery that carrots suspended in water give a strangely sweet odor. It's strange because it's sweet, and people generally like sweet things, but at the same time it's too sweet, unnervingly sweet, so sweet it sends alarm bells off in your skull. Because while it's sweet, it's also dead. It's the smell of decay, of rot. That's what Cassandra and her house smell like. In real life, Rosario floated some carrots in a bucket in your shared kitchen for the purposes of realism, and after a week you literally put your foot in their face to make them dump it out. You and Alice squeeze together on one of the uncomfortable sofas, and Cassandra settles in a wing-backed chair. Alice glares at you, and you, satchel on your lap, hide your fist with your house keys sharp between your knuckles. The wolf is a paper-cut thin line away from bursting. Cassandra sniffs and pours herself tea. Such hostility! If I didn't know what you all are, I might even be afraid. What do you have to tell us? You say, and with remarkable restraint, do not spit a single word through your teeth. Cassandra takes a sip of tea, and then sets it on its saucer with a clink. I'm sure Alice has told you very little, because if she did, you would have contacted me sooner. Would you like the short version or the long version? We got time. Cassandra arches a penciled eyebrow. Well, that's a refreshing surprise. Usually you young people are always rushing on about getting on. She says the words young people like they're a particularly ugly vase that begs to be smashed. Your spine stiffens, but you say nothing. You can wait out anything if necessary. Cassandra takes another sip of tea before setting her cup on the tray. Like many supernatural people, Alice's past is heavy and needlessly convoluted. She is my ward because her parents were murdered. But who she thought was her father is not her father. Her father is a very old werewolf named Bisclaveret. Alice folds her hands in her lap, and her gaze is averted. You can hear her take deep breaths beside you, and you shift to sit closer and provide comfort. I wonder if it's Bisclaveret. I'll go with that. Bisclaveret is an odd misanthrope of a beast. Cassandra waves her hand. He spends most years as a wolf, but every decade or so he remembers he has manners and becomes human for a stint. We do not know how old he is, but Alice is his spitting human image. When she was born, she started manifesting abilities, which caught the association's attention. It's nothing special, Alice blurts out. My intuition is very high. She can sense danger, use her ridiculously high empathy to predict people's actions, and perform low-level hypnosis is what she can do. Cassandra clarifies with a snap. Bisclaveret doesn't know she exists quite yet. People seem to value their lives too much to pull him out of the forest. Cassandra glances at her nails with distaste, as subtext to what she thinks of those people. Silence reigns as you soak this in. Cassandra pours herself another cup of tea and drains it. Alice is stiff as a board beside you, and you grip your house keys tighter. So that's Alice, Cassandra says. No, it isn't, you cut in. How did she become a werewolf? Cassandra doesn't deign to even glance at you. Oh, you know, the usual way. An investigation turned up nothing, and she was under my care already. I usually deal with the young supernatural population until they learn the rules and reach adulthood. That's why she needs to check in with me more. Her flippancy irritates, but you set that aside for now. Is that all I need to know? That Alice is powerful? Oh, the other thing is such a banal and small matter that I was saving it for last, Cassandra says. You must give me your oath you will maintain the masquerade. I know about the masquerade. Cassandra waves her hand again. Then you know what I must do. If you live past this interview, I'm sure you'll make another mistake some other time and a random mortal will learn about werewolves. You must silence them if you do not want to make them your responsibility. She means kill them, Alice interjects like a stray bullet. If you feel any shock, you push it down. You absolutely will not appear weak in front of this human. And if I refuse? Cassandra's smile forms predatory. The deep blue angle of her eyes spells red rum. Then I shall give you a moment to make your peace. Alice's panic explodes into pleas. No! Don't harm her! Come stand by me, Alice, Cassandra orders, standing up herself. One way or another, this interview is over. Let's hope for your friend's sake you haven't been telling them the rogues nonsense about breaking masquerade. That group is full of dead fools walking. Before you can blink, Alice is ripped from your side, and you watch real-time bruises forming on her wrist underneath Cassandra's fingers. You spring forward, and Cassandra backhands you so hard you slam into the wall with a crunch. It's clear that you'll need your every ounce of fighting skill to beat Cassandra. Even if you don't care about the masquerade, you must convince her you'll abide by the rules. What do you do? Swear my oath for now, or fight my way out. Well, the game advises to play to our strengths. So, considering I seem to be able to, relatively speaking, human pretty well, I think it might be for the best if we kept things quiet. I swear, for now. I promise not to break masquerade. You snarl in a voice more wolf than human. You glare at her out of yellow eyes. Adrenaline pumps through your muscles at the ready to bolt. Your breath comes in shallow spurts. Excellent, she says, releasing a whimpering Alice. I'll have Alice contact you with the official ceremony details. Blood drips from your head, and pressing to stop it makes your whole hand red. Ceremony? It's really to introduce you to everyone. Nothing terrible, Cassandra drawls. Alice scampers to you and gasps. Gwen, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. It's okay, we can heal right up and it'll be better. I want out of here first, you say. Cassandra can't seem to let you limp away without one last remark. I have a riddle. The unexpectedness of a person like Cassandra having something as playful as a riddle seems so ludicrous that you and Alice pause. It goes like this, Cassandra says in a high, mocking sing-song. Why did I serve the tea myself? Why do I not have servants? You and Alice exchange a puzzled glance. Cassandra smiles, low and wicked. Because I ate them. Chapter 7. Hands held out. Recovering from your encounter with Cassandra is more a question of nerves than physical injury. Her behavior rankled, and it took skill to escape her. You feel tired in a way a solid nap and a good cup of coffee don't entirely cure. Rosario suggests going for a leisurely walk in the park, and you have to admit the idea has merit. When you find the time, you bundle up against the mid-spring chill and bend your steps towards the city's section of nature. The late morning light is steady and clear, thanks to scattered gray clouds that are doing their best to lull people into a false sense of security. It definitely won't rain. Sure, you can trust us. That sort of thing. The willow tree hangs its head over the pond like it knows the truth, while ducks and geese honk, happy in the knowledge that water is their element. The pond flows into a man-made river, and a bridge crosses it. You follow the bridge's example and make your way deeper into a sort of picturesque wooded area with picnic tables. Closing your eyes and breathing, the smell of fresh-cut wood shavings, the warm decay of stacked mulch, and the faint garlic scent of ramsons reach you. You can hear the squirrels chatter well enough, and a few plaintive, angry tweets from birds. Animals are forever arguing about things. How do you feel? Still shaken? A little stirred? Or better, at peace, nature's where I belong. You can say a little better. How do our stats look? I think we got a boost to empathy, responsibility, a little bit more defense. Cool. You open your eyes, and before you stands Chica of all people. Gwen, Chica says. It's not a question. Her voice is soft and full of the warmth of wonder. She steps closer and cups your cheek. How are you? Something's changed again. The gesture is familiar, and her palm is so soft. It would be easy to melt entirely into her keeping, to keep those fingers forever tangled in your hair. I met Cassandra, you say, because there's really no reason to keep that secret. Oh no. Chica's face is full to the brim with concern. She harmed you, didn't she? I survived. That's all you need to say. Of course, Chica says, smile wan. Wan? A hard emotion shudders behind her iris. If she had harmed you, I would have killed her. You nod, because you see no reason to doubt her. Chica takes her hands away. She puts her hands in her pockets in a deliberate motion, like she knows better than to physically influence your reaction to what she says next. There's another way. The rogues? I always want you to be with me. All these declarations. You're gonna have a second career as a romance writer at this point. The corner of Chica's mouth quirks into a smile before smoothing out to neutrality again. We just want to be out. We want to stop hiding. We want to use our abilities to help people. Now that you've met Cassandra, the terrible consequences of the rogue's failure are all too easy to imagine. No matter your personal feelings for Chica, you don't want her to die. The thought alone makes blood drain from your face. How's recruitment going? She sighs with a bitterness like the white pith of a lemon. Poorly. We need to become strong enough to survive. But that has become complicated. A knowing bruise in the base of your stomach. You can confirm something here. You tried to recruit Alice, right? Chica shrugs and gives an almost rueful smile. She thinks if she keeps her head down, she'll scrap through. She refuses to fight. You eye her carefully. Cassandra said she's powerful. And as a member of her bite line, you are too. Once you've been a wolf longer, Chica says. Outside of my own feelings, the rogues and I could use you. I'm their leader, and I would protect those you hold dear. There's a pause. Despite revealing so much about herself, Chica seems relaxed, like a weight has been lifted off her shoulders. You don't have to decide now, but soon, I think. One more thing, Gwen, she says. Yeah? Will you go on a date with me? Yes! Yes. Chica lights up. That's the only way to describe it. Her eyes flicker with new meaning. I'm so glad. Thank you. You smile, and the two of you make arrangements for dinner the following day. You arrive at the agreed-upon sushi restaurant right on time. Chica stands under the neon. Her black hair cascades down her shoulders like a waterfall of silk. Her bangs are so straight they could cut. She's wearing a crimson and white layered shirt with a V-neck that plunges modestly. Your stomach tightens. Hello? Good evening, Gwen, Chica says. How'd you know about this place, you ask. It's not too far from the hospital, but you're sure you've seen her in the hospital cafeteria sometime. I eat here often. It's very good quality for low price and quick service. Chica inclines her head exactly half an inch, as if bowing you past. I enjoy it. No, obviously, I do not wish to shorten our evening. You take the hint and walk in. The place is a cross between homey and fancy. No white tablecloths, but faux marble tables and counters. Candles light every table, and the shadows dance across statues of the Buddha and landscape paintings. It smells like soy sauce, fish, and freshly warmed rice. Chica motions to the hostess, and you two are immediately seated in the center. You're determined not to be intimidated or nervous. You ask, I hope I can ask all these questions in due time. How did you become a werewolf? Chica's fingers hold the menu a little more stiffly at your bluntness. A natural question, I suppose, she says, but not a particularly pleasant story. She raises her gaze to meet yours, and her dark eyes betray nothing but steadfast clarity. The wolf inside you feels challenged. Do you not want to tell me? Is it a secret? Before Chica can reply, the mention of secrets summons a waiter covered in tattoos. You order water to keep your head clear and settle in to wait. When she does speak, her voice is slow and methodical, like water dripping off an icicle. Where I'm from, there are islands filled with animals so friendly that children may walk up and pet them without fear. My parents took me to an island full of foxes when I was very small. It was enchanting, being able to play with kids like they were my siblings, having no fear of such bright, wild things. A spell almost settled over me, and I thought, this is what utter peace and balance is. The Garden of Eden, you'd call it. You don't dare interrupt. You don't dare breathe. When I came here, I ventured into the forest. I like to get the lay of the land of the places I inhabit. This was almost 3 months before we met at the hospital. I came early. She doesn't offer an explanation as to why, and you don't press. I encountered 2 wolves fighting. The wolves were bigger than I'd ever seen, ever imagined. At first I was determined to leave, but then I saw the she-wolf was defending smaller, frightened wolves. The rogues, you hazard as a guess. Yes, I later learned that. But at the time, all I could think of was the island of foxes and how this fighting wouldn't happen in the Garden of Eden. I took up a sharp stick and joined the fight. In the confusion, I was bitten. Did you kill them? The other wolf? Chica doesn't smile or show any change in emotion whatsoever. Yes. And the leader of the rogues helped you through everything? Chica nods. And when she passed away, I became the leader. Here's a time, if you were fully human, that you would offer sympathy and support, that you would take her hand and switch to lighter topics. Do you? What are our stats looking like? Oh, we're still just at 50 for Chica right now. Take her hand. Take it. You place your hand on top of hers. Chica's hand is cool and dry to the touch, and her eyes widen in quickly smothered surprise. I'm sorry you had to go through that, and for your loss. You must have admired her greatly. You're unsure how many times Chica has told this story, but it seems like no one else's reaction has been to hold her hand and offer sympathies. Her gaze breaks as she looks away, but a twining of the fingers lets you know that she doesn't want you to stop. Thank you, she says. You swipe a thumb across skin until the waiter comes and asks for orders. The remainder of the evening has an intimate, soft mood and lighter conversation. While winter snow has melted, the spring night is still cold outside the restaurant. Can I escort you home? Chica asks. She looks hallowed in the phosphorescent streetlight amber. The vision makes your mouth dry, so your consent is a nod. She takes your arm and you walk home together linked close, drunk on the smell of darkness and violets. A complicated emotion fills your abused heart as you arrive at your door. Do you invite Chica up for coffee? Oh my god. Can I get some gay froggies in chat, please? I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a fade to black deal, but... Okay, first, a swig of water. I'll also say tonight's beverage of choice is a cherry Kool-Aid jammer pack. So it's not a particularly large drink. I could probably slam it down in all of an instant, as I already have been for the past few packs. Okay. Chica, how do you take your coffee? Chica says yes, and within moments you are in your room and lost in the taste of Chica's mouth, in the way she breathes and smells and gasps as you explore. You wake up before her in the morning and snuffle into her hair with soft sleep noises. You must welcome in this bright new thing. Okay, now I gotta see. 75, let's go! I have a hot goth werewolf GF. A few days later, you're brooding in the park like a chicken on an egg of a problem, when Rosario comes upon you. They say nothing, only fall and step beside you as you walk along the gravel path, with its orderly native plants and small springtime shadows and new leaves. The crunching sounds of your feet sink, and the mood is as pleasant and natural as sunshine. Perhaps it's something to do with not being alone, having someone to guard your side, or maybe even some unique effect of Rosario, but your chest eases as the path goes on. The trail winds easy until you reach the park's boundaries. Without missing a beat, Rosario links your arm with theirs and finds a cheap pizza place. It's only after sitting together at a plastic table over a steaming carnivore's pizza pie that they speak. What are you thinking? You blink and take a slice of pizza. I'm thinking about the rogues and the masquerade, which I want to join. Rosario makes a sympathetic noise. And I thought having writer's block was bad. That cracks a smile out of you. Rosario looks cute today, in black plaid skirt and fuzzy red sweater. Their hair's grown longer again, curls kissing their shoulders. Silence settles as you eat. Do you remember when I used to write to you? Rosario asks about 10 minutes later. When you were in medical school, you rummage in your brain and produce memorialized snippets of heavy envelopes and crisp postcard lines. Seeing your nod, Rosario continues. Do you think this werewolf thing is worse than that? You eye Rosario and take a meditative bite of pizza. What were you like then? That time is hazy and hollowed out. You pushed yourself to be top of your class, pushed harder than you ever had, and at great and terrible price. When you don't answer, Rosario sighs. The worst is not as long as we can say this is the worst. They reach across a small table and place their hand over yours. I know this whole transformation has been rough. I'm here for you, no matter what. I love you. You're caught in the warm brown of Rosario's eyes. Their gaze, their words, their strong hands. It sparks something in your blood. This place, these words. Is this... So... This time I'm a little bit... I mean, I wouldn't mind, you know, if we also dated Rosario at the same time. I'm only questioning if if this game actually allows polyamory. Because I know some of the Choice of Games titles, there are some games that do. And I just don't remember if this is one of them that allows that. Let me check. LGBTQ terms. Also, in case anyone was unaware, did you know that the lesbian equivalent of a bear is called an Ursula? The more you know. Well, polyamory isn't in the glossary, so I'm going to assume that polyamory is not an option. And, you know, so I think I have more interest in Chica than I do Rosario. So, you know, let things be. You decide to let things be as they are. Rosario's friendship has been invaluable in the past, and changed the human side of you irrevocably. You are satisfied and fulfilled. And the afternoon goes as any afternoon with Rosario would, with jokes, smiles, and comfort food. Humans did a good one when they invented pizza. Okay. Chapter 8. The Choice. The promised day of the masquerade meeting approaches in ominous turnings of the sun. Perhaps you are unworried. Perhaps certainty runs liquid in your veins. Perhaps none of the above. See, thing is, obviously I want to go rogue. I'm just not sure if I have... I'm not sure if I have, like, the stats to back up, like, a more violent scenario. Like, I don't have a lot of bloodthirst. I don't know what 40% defense is gonna get me. I don't know if Uncanny will contribute to anything. Ah! Hi, RNG! Hello, thank you for the raid! I hope you're all cozy, it's story time. We're reading Moro's The Gay Werewolf story. We're actually getting somewhat close. What? Double raid! Double raid by RNG, aka Bambi Bunny Boy. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but... Bambi Boy Bunny raid! Give us your thighs or your lives! Rawr. You know, I never thought I would have to be the one to ever say that. Raiding is hard. You're appreciated. Also, I already put up your stream, Froggy, up on top of the screen. because it has a very important job for this stream. It's covering up some rather sensitive information for Froggy. And so it's been doing an excellent job just by hanging up top. Okay, we were just on the precipice of a really big choice. Do we want to join, like, the stuffy, hierarchical, bourgeois masquerade? Or do we want to punk it up with the rogues? I know what I want to do, but I don't know if my stats will back it up. I'm hoping there's an option to, like, go a route that doesn't immediately involve, like, violence, you know, being able to play to my strengths. But, you know, if we join the bourgeoisie, we can topple the government! Fight from the inside. I mean, on paper, it sounds like that. It sounds like that's what you do, but, like, nowadays, you don't really see much of that happening. Okay. I'm gonna go with the rogues. If I get a bad ending, whoops. but let's go. We have to... By the way, this decision hinges primarily on whether we want to stay hidden away from the rest of humanity as werewolves, hence the masquerade, or if we want to publicize ourselves with the rogues. And I think, like, even on that front, like, the rogues' decision probably is the most ideal. What do you mean? We have specialist revolutions happening all the time. Perhaps I'm not paying close enough attention. Like, you might need to give me some examples. But anyway. Okay. Bad ending be damned, we're going with the rogues. A heartfelt decision. The first person you tell is Alice. Her eyes go wide. You want to join the rogues? You sigh. I don't want to hide. A pause. I know why you're afraid. Alice's gaze drops down and away. I don't want to fight. I'm not built for it, and I refuse to become so. I won't let Chica make you fight the masquerade. You'll be safe. You can just hang out. You promise? Yeah, I promise. It'll all work out. We can be who we were born to be. You move to pat Alice on the shoulder, but she has other ideas. Her arms wrap around you in a hug. She smells like high school. The inky fuzz of whiteboard marker, the silt of pencil lead, the pre-processed lunch meat, and you find yourself welcoming it. I trust you, she says. We'll be careful together. Like the one that's happening in New Frogland last week. Don't worry, you don't have to fight. All you've got to do is eat the plate full of rich people I serve. God, if only. You decide to call Chica on the phone. You're not ready to process the deep-running emotions that will flicker like firelight across her face as you confess to joining her in her cause. The ringing jangles your ear only once. Hello? It may be something about the electrical translation of her signature sound, but the greeting is mechanical, cold, and automatic. She didn't check caller ID. Chica? It's Gwen. Oh, Chica says, tone instantly softening to tender. A telephone call. Is this a special occasion? Anxiety tickles your shin bones, and out of the blue, you wish phones still had cords, so you could wrap the soft curling wire around your fingers over and over. Taking in a breath, you steady the feelings out. I decided. I want to join the Rogues. You hear Chica gasp, and suddenly even the call is too intimate. Hearing her voice in the dark shell of your ear is too much. Thank you, Gwen, she says. This makes me... I'm so glad. And Alice, you blurt out. Alice wants to join, as long as she doesn't have to fight. That's her condition, non-negotiable. I accept her terms, Chica says immediately. Like I said before, I'll keep you both safe. I'll apologize to her for my behavior last time. You grip the sweaty plastic of the phone tight. When can I see you again? Chica gives a deep rumble of pleasure. Tomorrow. I'll gather everyone tomorrow. Chica? Yes? Thank you. Yee! Chica gathers her people like oh so many flowers, and these blooms are shockingly young. The abandoned warehouse with its hot-wired electricity and DIY running water, crowds with happy voices that haven't aged past their 40s. Alice holds her hand, quavering tight. Quavering? And Rosario, who has insisted on coming, murmurs that they should have brought more cookies. They look quite nice in their black pleated skirt and floral button-up. Both Alice and you opted for plaid and jeans. The warehouse is divided into two areas, and it speaks to the Rogues' twofold mission. Fight for their freedom. On the far end, wolves spar with tooth and claw, clearly readying themselves for battle. On the closer side, a shelter for loved ones. Closer, thrift store couches huddle around a boxy television, and people throw popcorn at what seems to be a remake of The Wolfman on DVD. The tang of their laughter contrasts sharp as vinegar with the fighters' snarls. In her element, Chica stands ready to introduce you. Where do you go? What does it say about me that I actually have that movie on DVD? I like werewolves. But anyway. Yeah, I don't have great fighting skills to begin with. Aw, damn, Chica's at 100% now. Let's go! Oh, my bloodthirst got a little boost. As well as my empathy. Play to my strengths. Join the movie Snark Fest. Chica leads you, Alice, and Rosario to the people sprawled out on the couch. She introduces you all as new members, and Rosario as your close human friend. Speaking of Rosario, they are instantly at home, ready to critique and gush about the movie and its storytelling. You all squeeze onto a couch, and Alice curled up on your lap. Rosario is a warm font of joy to your right. Warm fount of joy to your right. Chica emanates cool reassurance and deep contentment to your left. Is this a new pack? If so, you are welcomed. It is a good first night. Alice, may I ask you something? Says Chica. Alice looks up from her homework spot on the rogue sofa. In the months since you all joined, Alice, you, and Rosario have taken a meeting here almost every day. You've made friends and can feel your muscles strengthen from all the practice. It feels good. Alive. Alice blinks at Chica in slow motion, like a cat. Alright. Chica's tone is soft and gentle. You can tell she is straining to be as delicate as possible, to cause the least distress. I understand that you have not had any contact with your biological father. Would you like to? Whatever Alice was expecting, it wasn't that. You found my father? Chica nods. To be more accurate, our fellow member Illtide did. He's still a wolf, but he's close by. I thought this would be a good opportunity. Rosario watches the exchange with an ever-raising eyebrow. Alice cuddles closer to you, as if needing the assurance of reality. She doesn't say anything for a long moment, but when she does speak, her voice doesn't quaver. This isn't just to be nice to me. You're also hoping he'll join the rogues. Yes, Chica says, with no artifice or remorse. That would be ideal. With him on our side, we would finally have enough strength to break silence and not suffer for it. But I will not undertake the endeavor without your permission or presence. If he does not wish to join us... Chica shrugs, but it is a careful gesture, like she performed it for Alice's reassurance alone. Reuniting a family is its own reward. Rosario speaks for the first time. I don't think she's bullshitting. Seems like a good deal. Alice sits up straight, sucks in a breath through her teeth, and looks Chica full in the face. Let's do it then. It is decided that only you, Chica, and Alice will go into the forest and find Alice's father, Bisclaveret. Or... Bisclaveret. A werewolf of age, beyond memory and power beyond imagination, will likely appreciate not being ganged up on. Chica says that Bisclaveret is deep in the forest. Will you run there on the power of your wolfish legs alone? Or will you ride civilization's train as far as it will take you? It probably... It would probably make a better first impression if we ran there, right? Woo! You all run as proper wolves do. Deeper yet deeper, stranger yet stranger. Did that boost any of my stats? Uncanny. I think I got a boost to snark too. The forest is a vast tangle of slow-growing blooms. Snow is only a faint remembrance now. The pale white, six-sided stars of wood anemones open to welcome sunshine, and even some early bluebells nod in supplication. The group passes a meadow dense with light purple lady smock, and the air hangs heady with promise. Your blood quickens to be amongst so many growing things. Even the birds refuse to be quiet at high noon. The ancient oakwood canopy shifts in breeze, and you drink it up, hungry. Moist decomposition, warming earth, and the resin of deer fur fills your nose. The deer scent excites, but underneath that, something near unrecognizable, but quintessential werewolf. Chica, resplendent in her enormous pure white coat, raises her head. She caught the scent too. She growls and has ear-pricked attention from you and Alice. Cautious and soft-stepped, you pick your way closer, low to the ground. 2 miles in, the wind strengthens and carries an irresistible temptation. The smell of wood smoke and juicy, rich, roasting meat. Whoever that werewolf is, they're settling down to dinner with the aid of their human hands and feet. Leading the pack, Chica looks back at you and Alice. Are you ready? Let's do it! Regardless of your feelings on the matter, your party approaches, and it is quickly a bad idea. A one-armed woman hums over the campfire, roasting a deer carcass. A wolf standing on two legs turns a deer carcass over a campfire while humming a gravelly tune. Wolf and woman occupy the same space, and in that space too is a pure indigo light that shimmers like a heart-deep absence does. Your brain vibrates with the image of a woman over the image of a wolf over the image of light. The smell of forest and ozone and burning incense clamor in your nose. In your ears, the wing beats of birds, louder and louder, flurry after flurry. Alice cowers. Chica screams. The woman starts and stares at you. All you see are her vermilion eyes, the scarlet of blood, the damask of life coursing through her. Your wolf self is being scraped back, peeling away hair by the blister of her gaze, until you are human, and it is your raw skin whimpering. You black out. Did we get the bad ending? Wake up, says a voice. It is the voice of your father, and your mother too. It is the melody of them both. Sorry about this. I wasn't expecting you. You groan and open your eyes. Blue edges coddle your vision. Cradling you to her bosom is the most gorgeous woman you've ever witnessed. The low knife of her nose, the sleek ovals of her eyes, the high dark arch of her brows, the roundness of her cheekbones. It is bewitching. Her lone arm hugs you closer. You're awake. It's a statement, not a question, and the relief in her voice is palpable as she touches your forehead with her own. The playful ringlets of her deep purple faux hawk kiss your forehead, and you are utterly enamored. The nameless butch beauty guides you into sitting up, and the blue fades. You feel energized, awake and alert, healed. Gwyn! Alice says, and the girl is suddenly beside you. It took you so long to wake up! Gave us quite a scare, Chica says and hands you a bottle of water. You're surrounded by women in the forest. You sit close to the fire where the meat still roasts, and you, Chica, and Alice wear blankets for modesty's sake. Camping supplies rest against a tree. You chug the water to hide your disappointment when the mystery woman disentangles herself from you. You want to keep her close, and know just the way to do it. Compliment her and ask her name, ask a snarky question, aggressively demand answers! If this is who I think it is, I'm gonna stick to snark. Would anyone like to would anyone like to explain what's going on? Ishara raises her arm and shakes down the sleeve of her leather jacket in preparation to stoke the fire. Her other sleeve is neatly pinned up. You can call me Ishara. Your pack leader Chica has told me you're after Bisclavret. So am I, but it looks like I ensnared you instead of him. Your eyes round, and Chica nods to confirm. For the first time, you notice the brightness of Chica's expression. She is the blue light. Ishara is a goddess among werewolves. The others certainly put it like that, Ishara responds, glancing at Chica. They call me a goddess. I think of myself as a traveler. A haunted flicker and flash across her face, and you realize she is not naturally still, but expressive and light. She turns to Alice. I've been staying with the masquerade this last month. They told me about you and their hesitation. Disdain mars her features to convey exactly what she thinks of their hesitation. To find your father. I offered to help. It's a blessing to meet you now. I offered to help. It's a blessing to meet you now. Standing and drawing close to Ishara, Chica launches into an explanation of the rogues and their goals. Ishara bustles around the campsite while she listens and murmurs that perhaps she'll reconsider her current neutrality in the masquerade rogue conflict. You feel calm. Twilight stains shades of gold and red, which wink and spark off Ishara's earrings. A river rustles its waters nearby. The meat only smells more and more delicious. You're thinking of asking for a bit of meat when you hear it. A howl. Alice stands up. He's coming! Gwen, Alice, let us prepare, Chica says. Goddess or no, you have to plan to make Biscleret more talkative than the typical feral wolf. Which is... Well, I'm in no condition to fight him. Appealing to humanity... I mean, stat-wise, that's my best option, but... like, he doesn't seem to be the type that is interested. He seems pretty, hermetic. We can try to trick him. How do my stats look so far? I got more snark, a little more empathy. My defense is still at 40%. Yeah, let's try and trick him. After Ishara shares the details of her plan, you recognize the elegant simplicity of it as you would solid wordplay, and agree to follow it. All three rogues transform and hide. Ishara instructs you not to look at her, and you do your best to ignore the beehive's words of buzzing coming from the campsite. Chica and you keep still, with Alice nestled between you safe. Your ears catch the crack of a twig and tear of a branch. A large something hurls towards the camp, and the howling call echoes in the cavities of your heart. A crash, and you hear Ishara's voice. Hail, Biscleret! I come bearing news from the civilized lands. There's a pause. Your heart beats deep in your chest and slow in your ears. Your breaths are shallow and quick. Everyone stills. It's all right to come out, Ishara says. He's eating the meat. The massive wolf does not transform back into a man before first devouring most of the meat. You don't want to watch, but you cannot look away either, as his massive yellow jaws hook and lock and shear. Only after the last of the blood is licked off his nose, and the prime bits have disappeared down his gullet, and do his own sinews twang, snap, shrink, and reform. The grotesque dance of his flesh is a study in anatomy and dissection. Fur sloughs off like bloated bark, giving glimpses of the pinkness of his lungs and healthy dark mauve of his liver. His nails, teeth, and skull shriek at their shortening. The wet lines of his veins muffle the bones mercifully quick. Before them stands a smallish man with a riot of dense, thick curls, and a coloring only a few shades lighter than Ishara's. He does resemble Alice, except for his piercing blue eyes. Alice sucks in a breath at her paternal mirror. Hello, Father. Expressionless, he looks Alice up and down. You wonder if his want of expression is because of a serious demeanor, or if he's forgotten how to work a human face. another minute before he speaks, and even then, it is a rasp. I acknowledge you as my child. Alice takes a step towards him. May I touch you? Come here. I haven't held a child in an age, he says, quiet, and Alice runs. Just as the moon rises, they hug, father and daughter, united at last. Come away, Ishara says, touching her shoulder. Give them a moment. Alice and Biscleret talk for hours. Chica hovers close to the familial pair, a silent guardian. As the night grows, Ishara passes out spare long robes and ensures everyone eats meat and the dried berries from her pack. Rosario would call her total mom-friend material. She withdraws beyond the firelight. You make to follow, but Chica stops you with a reassuring squeeze of your shoulder. You did well today, she says, letting her fingers slide off. She then tilts her head in Ishara's direction, perhaps an instruction and perhaps an approval. In either case, you find Ishara sitting in the crook of an old tree, an oak tree. She looks a vision, surrounded by new growth Wait, what? She looks a vision, surrounded by new growth leaves and aching, praying branches. At first you think she's sleeping, but then she cracks an eye open. I was hoping you'd come. That makes you smile and climb. You straddle the bough adjacent hers, all the better to see her by the gibbous moonlight. The bark is pleasantly rough underneath your fingers, and the blunt smell of old wood is welcome. Ask a question. You settle into your place in the tree and ask if it's okay if you ask a question. Ishara says yes, so you say, Are you really a goddess? Ishara peers at you in open curiosity. Whatever she finds there, it makes her sigh. I have magic that seems new to this place, and I think that out-of-placeness overwhelms people. I'm not from here, she blurts out. What do you mean? The forest? No, I mean, yes? It's difficult to explain. Ishara may be the most comely woman you've met when composed, but she's absolutely gorgeous flustered. She speaks very fast. I'm from another world, and in that world I'm a perfectly ordinary werewolf, but my companions and I were tricked into going to another world, and we exploded it, but now we're separated across all creation, and I landed here, and I don't quite fit, and it's the worst. It takes you more than a few moments to absorb all of this tirade. Ishara watches you carefully, beseechingly. Gone is the warrior, the motherly caretaker, the compassionate healer. Now she is as painful and exposed as a ghost. A wrong word and she'll disappear. Do you believe me? She asks. I mean, we already live in a world full of werewolves and I believe vampires, so like, why not? Why wouldn't I believe in dimension hoppers? Yes, you breathe, and Ishara leans forward as if she wants to capture the sound. Your heart beats fast. With impossible grace, Ishara drops off the tree and holds her hand out to you. I would very much like to kiss you, she says. And more, besides. Would you like that too? I just met you. Okay, Shara's now at 25. Plus, I think this is like the second to last chapter. This seems a little rushed. Hello, Jay! Welcome to story time. I'll get you your Froggy. We're all cuddling, we're all cozying up. Yep, I'm taking them as right now, and I shall accomplish a trifecta of healthiness. Well, first things first, I know I'm sitting straight, but I sure ain't loving straight. Heyo! Okay. Ad time? Wow. What does ad time do? It plays ads on top of stream for a certain length of time. Usually it's to prevent like ads just playing during stream by themselves. Yeah, and I can make I could potentially make like a very, very, very minuscule amount of cash by doing it. But I will do that right now. I do believe that subbed Lily Pals will not experience the ads. That's part of the perk of being subscribbled. But anyway. Okay, yeah. 1 minute ad break. And I will take my meds and stretch in the meantime. Anyway, 1 minute ad, let's go! Okay, it should be playing. Should be playing right now. The timer's going. Okay, meds. I'm drinking H2O. It's no problem. And add over. Really? It says there's like 15 seconds remaining. How about that? Just have so many bubbles. It's funny because only on my PC, not my phone. Okay. Ad's over. I've taken my meds. Gotta make sure I have the right windows up. I'm playing the game in a separate window, and so I have 2 Firefox windows open. Anyway, stretch. And no worries, Jay. You spend your bubbles however you want to. Before I get started though, I'm quickly gonna break into my Kool-Aid jammer, get a sip. Pound the plastic, or pound the straw out of the plastic, like I always do. Like to spend them for cuddles with wifey, please. Aww. Big Froggy, wifey hugs. You got so many. For free. Mwah. Mwah. Let's see, what is the most... Oh. My most expensive redeem is my croak voice. Anyway, Ishara is coming on to us. And it's kind of... Again, I wish I knew ahead of time if polyamory was an option. Either that, or at the very, very least, there's no consequence for, like, being romantically involved, sexually involved with everyone at the same time. I'm confused for poly. I mean, me IRL, yes, absolutely. In the game, I don't know if that's an option. It's just I know if we look at stats, our relationships, right now I have Chica at full, Rosario is halfway there, and I think by this point I've basically friend-zoned Rosario. And then Ishara is starting to come on to us. So it's like, no matter what, I want full in on Chica, but I want to be sure, like, she doesn't get upset if, like, I do anything with Ishara, if I decide to do so. Oh, video game. That's cheeky. I know there are some other of the text-based games hosted on Choice of Games that explicitly do allow polyamory. I just don't remember if this is one of them. Okay. And of course, as appropriate, we can also declare ourselves as asexual if we wanted to. I'm not, but you know, if you played this game yourself, if you bought the game to get this far, that's an option too, if you would like. I'm probably not gonna do kissing and more. So at this point it's either just kissing or a polite decline. Which means I can flip a coin. I can flip my huge Princess Daisy coin. That is much easier to spot in case I don't catch it and it goes sprawling out onto the floor. Okay. Heads, we smooch. must politely decline, explaining that we don't feel that way about her. Ishara helps you down from the tree all the same. I see. Thank you for entertaining the notion and coming to find me. She laughs, though it's tinged with disappointment. Should we go back to the others? I'm eager to try this new delight called s'mores. By next morning, Bisclave has agreed to return to the human fold and fight for the rogues. Alice is elated, and you catch her pinching herself. She murmurs that she never dared dream of having a father again, or one whose mind is so cool and calm, like walking in the shade of the greenwood during a high summer. Bisclave snorts at this description, but you see how his eyes follow Alice with delight and affection. She's a good girl. You nod, knowing. Chica is beside herself at the rogue's good fortune. They have gained an elder and a goddess in one fell swoop. Your group is more than ready to reveal and defend themselves now. It's only a question of setting up the cameras. Chapter 9, The Last Masquerade. Yep, this is the final chapter. Specifically, we are doing the rogue route. A tall man is waiting for you at the train station. He's one of those cream-skinned, willowy people with curly, ink-brown hair and cheekbones sharp enough to cut. That's all you have a chance to notice about him before he's kissing Bisclave full on the mouth. That is, this is Ill-Tide, Chica says with distinct discomfort. You'll recall that he's the one who reported Bisclave's whereabouts to me. Ishara chuckled and mutters something like, whereabouts indeed. Bisclave and Ill-Tide stop kissing, but it's difficult to miss how they grip each other's clothes like they want to rip them apart. I told you to go out and love other people, Bisclave says, standing on his toes to touch his broad forehead to Ill-Tide's narrow one. I've always found it difficult to follow directions, Ill-Tide says, breathless. Aww. Bisclave disengages only long enough to wrap an arm around Ill-Tide's waist. He turns to Alice. This is my daughter, Ill-Tide. They call her Alice. Ill-Tide's surprise is evident. You didn't tell me of this, Chica. Her composure regained, Chica nods and says, we have much to discuss and plan for. I would like to hold a feast, Bisclave says, to celebrate before battle. I like this idea, Ishara says. I haven't had a feast in a positive era. Chica's expression is unreadable, and Alice looks to you for an opinion. Tonight we eat hearty. Bisclave's offer of a feast ends up being too big a temptation to resist for the rogues. While Chica organizes defenses and visual logistics for the Supernatural's debut, you, Alice, and Rosario debate what food is and is not possible to serve with the rogues' limited budget and accommodations. The most difficult thing, however, is to explain what culinary delights this century has to offer Bisclave and Ishara. Rosario called a meeting in the apartment over it. I'd like to eat as modern people do. The last time I ate as a human long enough to savor was 1895, I think, Bisclave says. I remember being in awe of the gas lamp. What did you eat then? Or what did you eat then? Alice asks, eager. She sits crisscross applesauce on her father's knee, and it's adorable. We study so little about everyday life in history class. Bisclave muses. Despite the few days as a human, his face remains curiously blank in expression, and having someone so clearly ancient process thoughts like a robot buffering is oddly disconcerting. There are many people in the city. There are always more and more people here. I stayed on the margins. I liked curry, bagels, spaghetti, sushi, honey locusts, honey fingers. Once I had the rare chance to try this new vegetable from across the ocean called a potato. It wasn't spicy enough. By the way, this takes place in England. Iltide laughs from where he's coddled on Biskler Ray's lap, and Ishara exclaims, "I know one of those! My mother made very good honey locusts." Oh? The secret is the balance of pepper and salt, Ishara says, her face alight with excitement. Biskler Ray nods. Your mother must have made a delicious roasted snake and fire sauce with the same secret. Snake? No, not kosher. Ishara shakes her head, but beams all the same. But my father's favorite dish was fermented fish. You both like spicy foods. Thank God, Rosario says from where they're scrunched in their chair and taking notes. You're gonna love chicken tikka masala. Alice pipes up. Do you have a favorite food from when you were born? The room goes quiet. Everyone's been dancing around the age question. Biskler Ray looks to be in his early 40s, but appearances deceive more than stories when it comes to the supernatural. Biskler Ray takes longer to reply, but you realize it's because he's trying to smile. Wild boar. It's time to voice your opinion. What kind of food would you like to eat at this rogue feast? Let's do both! We can do both. Both is good, you say. Rosario gives you a despairing, "Why are you complicating my life?" look. But Ishara and Alice brighten. And the rest of the afternoon is plotting out clove-studded and red wince-laced roasted boar, hot oat bread, flaky pigeon pie, and turnips drowning in butter. Thick friend potato wedges, deep-fried zucchinis with cayenne pepper, and hamburgers with juicy meat slices will represent the more modern quick-serve palate, along with tongue-swelling hot curries, crunchy tacos, and plum onigiri. Dessert will be chilled pears and wine sauce, sweet cream swans, iced lemon cakes, and jello. Biskler Ray insists on catching the boar himself and roasting it on a spit, so it's a bit of a headache to coordinate that, but otherwise the food is surprisingly easy to make. You should only go a little over budget. God, I'm hungry now. Froggy tummy rumbly. The feast night approaches with much anticipation from the rogues and a flurry of activity from you. But it all comes together, and you must admit that the way the table groans under the weight of the food is highly satisfying. The satisfaction only builds when the others taste the dishes and smack their lips in pleasure. Raw meat has its animalistic perks, but fire changed the culinary game for good. You did well, Wolfie. You did well, Wolfie. You dress up for the party with a long, deep green skirt and matching fitted waistcoat over a black button-up. Not to be outdone, Rosario retaliates with a sequined crop top. Alice rolls her eyes at Rosario's antics and wears a short purple dress with ruffled cap sleeves. Bedecked as you are, you decide to do the social rounds. You might owe a few people some conversations. Let's see. We can see what Rosario and the group of rogues are talking about. Check on Alice, Biskler Ray, and Iltide. Chat with Ishara. Join Chica in the corner. Or just go home. I The way time to go home is phrased, it makes me think that I'll be able to pick more than one. I hope, anyway. I'm maxed out with Chica, so that's in the clear. Let's check in on the family. You wander over to Alice, Biskler, Ray, and Illtide, who are sitting on one of the rundown couches. Alice smiles when she sees you and nods. Biskler Ray's gaze flicks from his plate and back again. Illtide is the only one who actually voices, "Hello." You sit on the couch's arm nearest Alice and munch, silent and content. When your plate is empty and your glass drained, you make to rise. The cozy, unspoken oneness of the group makes you feel recharged. You can better survive the human bluster. Alice touches your wrist. "Quinn?" Biskler Ray says, "A word, please." You sit back down. Illtide moves a hand to Biskler Ray's knee and squeezes once before obviously pulling out his phone and scrolling. It gives the illusion of privacy. "My daughter tells me she made you a werewolf, that she felt it was your destiny." Biskler Ray says, "I wanted to thank you for embracing it." No one has ever thanked you for coping with trauma, so you're unsure how to respond. Thank you? "I don't think it is an accident that Alice is a werewolf either," Biskler Ray says. Is this still Biskler Ray? I'm not sure. "Someone has been meddling. I suspect it is the masquerade. Fortune would not turn on Abigail thus." Abigail? Biskler Ray must note your confusion. "Alice's mother." You look to Alice, who has always been rather cagey about her past. She takes your hand in her own and squeezes. "It's alright. It's time I told you everything." Yeah, I can listen in. At this point, I'm essentially her godmother. "I would like to know what happened, if you don't mind telling," you say, sitting back down. "Tea," Illtide says, standing up with a wire-tight abruptness. "And more food." Pocketing his phone, he gathers everyone's plates and walks off to the food table with an air of brisk assurance. Alice explains, "It's not a happy story. As Rosario says, upset people get tea." Thank goodness someone can read Biskler Ray's blank face. The man has a mind steadier than a surgeon's. Steadier than a surgeon's hand. Biskler Ray breathes and begins. "The last time I dwelled amongst humans for an extended period of time was 1895, as I said. But I've interacted with them for short periods since then. Some humans try to find me. Abigail was one of those. She was hiking deep in the woods, where the trees breach the sky and fatten thick with years." Alice sighs and leans back in her seat to stretch a little. She's clearly already heard this. Biskler Ray reaches out and tugs on her hair. She immediately lets go of you to put her head on it in his lap and let him play and twist with the free coils. "Abigail petitioned for a child. She explained to me that she'd married a proud man named William. They had a son, James, together, but she desired another child. However, her husband had suffered an accident and could no longer make children. It was a point of anger between them. He grew distant, absolutely refused to reconcile,
and didn't condone adoption. Abigail was a folklorist by training and knew I existed. For her, it was a point of professional and personal pride to find an old one. I did not know her for long, but she impressed me all the same, Biscleray says, and you can tell he speaks from the land of memory. To hear that she was murdered, that was upsetting. I thought my child was safe with her all this time. You process the story and sort through what is the more pressing question. Alice, you have an older half-brother? Sideways as she is, Alice still shrugs. I haven't seen James since I was 7. It's too painful for him to speak to me, so he made sure I was in foster care and left the country. And the murderer was his best friend. You swear a streak so blue it turns violet. Violet. I find the whole affair odd, Iltide says. He'd re-entered the group's sphere mid-blue streak, and carries a tray of tea and desserts. Alice sits up so her father can drink in peace. Biscleray takes the cup gratefully and is grateful for all the more as Iltide leans down for a kiss as brief as it is soft. Iltide continues. 2 boys are perfect friends for years, and suddenly one snaps and kills the other's parents. It doesn't add up. Every piece of violence has a reason, no matter how twisted. What changed? Iltide's face twists into a deep frown. Further, the masquerade knew of Alice's true parentage. How? How? Alice is then orphaned and put in Cassandra's care, and mysteriously she's changed into a full supernatural being. And not just any type of supernatural being, but the same as Biscleray is, so her latent werewolf genetics surface. Alice's powers will grow exponentially as she ages. Who wants an ultra-powerful empathic werewolf, and why have they yet to step forward? Questions like these haunt, Biscleray says. We'll take care. But anyone so foolish as to cross my line, my family, will, by the end, have more regrets than they can number. The oldest, most powerful werewolf in existence considers you family. Well, that's quite a thing. You pat Alice's head. Does this mean you're still coming over to the apartment for board games later? Wouldn't miss it, Alice laughs, happy. Just because Father and Iltide are here doesn't mean I can't also kick... Oh, just because Father and Iltide are here doesn't mean I can't also kick your butt at One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Someday I'm gonna figure out how you get around those magical lie-detecting powers, you tease. Iltide says, doesn't that game pit everyone against the werewolf in some glorified spot the liar machination? Biscleray sips more of his drink. I believe the last real case of werewolf sighting was the quarrel with the beast of Chevudan. That was when the humans learned about our silver allergy, Iltide nods. Alice becomes overly occupied with a loose couch thread at the mention of fighting. You nudge her. Hey, go find Rosario. You probably need a water round between drinks. Alice's thankful face makes her look even more like her father. She scampers off with a squeeze of the hand and a smile. That's Alice, then. Would you like to stay and hear the story of Biscleray and the Beast? You might learn better the defense of loved ones and the taste of blood. I already know the story of the Beast of Gévaudan, so I think I'm good. Out of character, I know the story, but sure, yeah. With due nods of respect and all that, you excuse yourself and leave the lovers alone. You know the bruise of fighting well enough. Okay, now I want to go to Chica. Chica lurks in the corner and watches the party from afar. Her smile is muted yet warm. Though her eyes are smudged a fatigued purple, she's pleased and calm in this moment. "Chica," you call, walking closer. "How are you? How are the preparations?" She leans against the wall. "They're complete. As soon as everyone's done nursing their hangovers, we can begin. Begin changing the world," you say, coming up beside her. You knock shoulders with her, and Chica laughs. It's such a careless sound it startles. "That's the idea." "What will you do afterwards, you think?" "Protect my people," she says automatically. "And?" "Become a general surgeon." "And after that?" "Be happy, I think," Chica says, her smile broadening. "Care to join me?" Aha! Okay. So, it's not really polyamory, strictly speaking, but an open relationship is an option. So that's good. If you like to commit to Chica, she seems to prefer a closed relationship. I think it was... I mean, obviously, if I knew that open relationship was an option, I would have played further into that. But I think because I didn't, that just makes it all the stronger with Chica. So, win-win, I guess. Or, like, I win either way. Let's make it exclusive. "Yes," you say. Turning towards her, you find Chica's fingers and twine them with your own. "Let's face this future together." "Thank you," Chica says suddenly, looking deep into your eyes. "Thank you for believing in me, for letting me into your life, for helping this cause. I feel I owe you a great debt." "A kiss will do in payment," you say, and Chica pays in full. Okay. Take a sip of my jammer. Okay. Yeah, let's go check up on Rosario and gang. Rosario is holding court in a whole knot of people and enjoying it immensely. The topic of tonight is how feminist retellings of fairy tales have changed the public view of the supernatural and the individual's perception of and relationships to their magical selves. If this conversation were a kingdom, Rosario would be monarch, and you only see bright interest in their face. You shuffle into the group and get a few good points in before deciding that your plate needs refilling. Oh, that's it! Okay. How are our stats looking? Okay. We got a little more defense, a little more uncanny. Our empathy has outgrown our responsibility, surprisingly. We're still pretty high on snark, though. Bloodthirst and uncanny, both like just a tinge higher. I think Ashara is fine. Let's go home. The hour is late and only grows longer. Fate has yanked you out of your ordinary life into a purgatory of extraordinary trials. You had no warning, but you've done well. This time, you do have warning. You feel fate loom over you. Carry tension in your shoulders as you prepare to be plucked from your new normal and thrown. It's not easy. It's never easy. When the attack happens, you look into a mirror. You've always suspected that mirrors led into parallel worlds, and in the split second as the attack starts, you dissociate enough to see past the silver and into the physical reality of your double. You're setting up the cameras with your human hands. You crash through the door with your wolf strength and snarl. It is yourself, with different choices and a different fate. In the second half of the second, a truth strikes. It is up to you. Bisclavaret, Illtide, Ishara, Chica, Rosario, Alex. They support you. But it has always been up to you to dissolve this conflict. Your power will bend reality, join sides together. The only question is how. I mean, I can't anticipate that the Masquerade is gonna go for peace. Granted, that might be my greatest strengths. Yeah, again, I only have, like, relatively modest defense. I think the best compromise would be fighting to defend. Also, it just seems like the most optimal in my head. You bellow a war cry and leap into the fray, with the intent to harm, but not murder. You swipe with claw and nip with tooth, and your enemies limp back into their hidey holes. Though you've dealt a mighty blow, you haven't ended the conflict. After witnessing your teeth, no one dares openly challenge the might of the Bisclavaret bite line, and so the rogue video goes live. As the days pass, you watch the world crack open like a walnut against stone. You know disgruntled Masquerade members skulk in the shadows, and you will face them as they come. The peace is uneasy, but Chica says it's the best to be hoped for. Your personal life is perfectly divided between wolf and human, a constant balancing act which grants its boons and bruises in turn. When Alice graduates from secondary school and throws her cap in the air, you've never felt more proud, both of her and yourself, for how far you've both come. Your victory is hard-earned. A beginning and an end. So that is, based on all of our decisions, that's the end of the rogue route of Moonrise. So I get to comfortably say, the end. Honestly, if I knew it would go by as quickly as it did, I was expecting it to go a little longer. But you know, if I knew we could wrap up the story as quickly as we did, I probably would have thought to do like a later stream. So that way I would have an added pressure to get the story done before everybody started winding down for bed. Both IRL and online. Because I know my babies. They have a bedtime. Yeah, the bedtime. And every so often my streams might go over, but apparently tonight is not one of those times. Okay. So our total stats. We have 58% empathy, 23% bloodthirst, 55% responsibility, 31% uncanny, 43% defense, 56% snark. And then our relationships, we were pretty close friends with Rosario. That could have very well ended up romantic, but we decided against it. Chica, I pedal to the metal. A goth werewolf GF. Yes, please. So obviously Chica, 100%. And it seemed like Rosario was fine with just being friends, just being close friends, but friends. And then Ishara, yeah, I have a feeling I would like Ishara more if, she came up earlier in the story. Kind of get time to interact with her more than we have. And I felt like, her romantic interest was a bit too quick. It seemed to happen too fast. I mean, that said, kissing a butch, that's always a plus. Let's see. My overall feelings on the story as we played it the way we did. I'd say I enjoyed myself. I thought it was good. Nothing mind-blowing, but I think I liked Alice. I liked Rosario. Obviously, I liked Chica. And I would have liked Ishara if there was more time with her. Granted, that could have been influenced based on my own choices, just because I wasn't aware if an open relationship was an option. So there's that. I feel like also influenced by my choices. I have a feeling if I went with the masquerade, I would have had a better understanding of the villains, the antagonists of the story, because it seems like in the rogue scenario, after meeting Cassandra, and building her up as this supposed huge powerhouse, and then we got Alice's father in, and then suddenly she's totally forgotten about, and I think that could have been handled better. Yeah, I feel like I feel like in the rogue scenario, like, antagonists like Cassandra probably could have been better elaborated, probably had more appearances, more interactions. But I'm also aware that that would probably just take more writing than what's already here. And I'm not Natalie, so I can't contribute more than what's already here. And thank you for lurk, RNG. Let's see. I guess I would say, for folks who are newer to choice of games, this might be an ideal pick, you know, for something fairly solid, pretty good. Solid, but straightforward. Aside from the romantic options, that is. Nyuk, 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 nyuk. Yeah. So I get. Oh, here we go. We can recommend, or like how we would scale it. I'm gonna put it at. I'm feeling like a 7. Like, good, but not groundbreaking. Okay. Yeah, so now it just leaves me with, do I want to play again? Do I want to play more games like this? Do I want to share the game? I mean, I'm sharing it right now, so hey, if you guys liked this story, if you Lily Pals loved this gay werewolf interactive story, check out Moonrise on Choice of Games. I don't remember like how much it costs, but usually these games, to my memory, like, since most of them are just only text-based, they like never break like $10. They're pretty cheap as far as games go. Fun to certainly might see more like this. That's cool. That's good. And on that thought, you see, I briefly slipped that there were actually a couple of Choice of Games that I owned. This is one of them, and then the other one is called, will this appear on stream? I don't know. But I have it bookmarked. It's called Tokyo Wizard. So I might do that. I might play Tokyo Wizard on stream at some point. Maybe. Otherwise, I know there's also like a couple of other games that I've been playing through the demos of, and I've actually been really enjoying, but I haven't got the full versions yet. But yeah, Choice of Games. If you like to read, if you like an abundance of like choose your own adventure shenanigans and drama and loads, and I do mean loads, of queer representation, check out Choice of Games. Check out their catalog from either their own games or from hosted games. The hosted games are like games made by other people outside the team. And so Moonrise, I believe both Moonrise and Tokyo Wizard are hosted games. So yeah, any money you spend on hosted games, at least the majority of the money, will go to the creators. So, if you're worried about it sounding like microtransaction shit, don't. It's good. It's for good things. Well, Moonrise. The end. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else. And so, I guess it's about time for us to wrap up. I seriously was anticipating this to go a bit longer, but it appears I was mistaken. I hope y'all had a good time just being read to. I'd love to do more of it. Like, not just with Choice of Games, but, potentially, like, stories I pull from the World Wide Web, or otherwise, like, maybe, like, public domain stories that I could read out to my lily pals. We'll see. We'll see. But right now, the only thing we have to do now is a raid. I have the raid messages up. Don't accidentally double click. Alright. So who is live? Oh, right off the bat, we're raiding Aura. Aura is live, playing Minecraft. I bet she's playing, or maybe not. Maybe? I can't tell. I just know she's played through modded versions before. But, yeah. Aura is my big dragon sister. She's very sweet and very good, very cute, very pretty. She's precious. Aurora, the moon dragon. Let's go. Okay. Well, lily pals, thank you for hopping on over for story time. I don't know what I'm gonna get up to next Friday. Maybe some more Slarpy-G? But I've also been getting a little itch for Toho. So that's something I'll consider, most likely consider. So it could be Slarpy-G, it could be Toho. It remains yet to be decided. But okay, lily pals, I hope I will see you all then. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you all had a great time with me and our gay little werewolves for Pride Month. Let's go gays. Alright, anyway, I'll see you all Friday. Oh yeah, swimmy!